What up, y'all? We up here at the state capitol. I'm just making a short video. Met my friend Ray here. He's got Lyme's disease. He was wanting to talk about just a little bit of how cannabis has helped benefit his life, and we'll let him do a little talking now, if you like. Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. What kind of talking do you need me to do?
I just appreciate you coming out here and supporting, man. I've been up here since 2010. I've lost a lot of people to cancer, and I got a best friend that's got multiple sclerosis, so it's a real sensitive topic to me personally also, but I know it is to you too.
I'm real swollen and pain. It's painful right now, but the oil that's made from cannabis, I don't know if you've ever looked up Shona Banda or Rick Simpson online, but especially I took 10 days of that oil from Shona Banda up in Colorado, and I stood up after 2.5, 3 years. I'm paraplegic. I stood.
I believe it.
All because and it's illegal. It's illegal for me to stand in the state of Tennessee.
Well, yeah, I've heard about the oil. In 2010, my grandma had 7 ulcers on her legs. I watched that Rick Simpson DVD in back 2008, and there was somebody on there that they showed the ulcers. They were putting oil. My grandma, like in 2007, had ulcers. She was laid up for 4.5 months. You know, couldn't get them to go away. 7 days. I put oil on her legs for 7 days. Justin, this is amazing. This is amazing, you know. But really, I broke the law. But you think I want my grandma laying around? Because her grandma lost both of her legs when she got ulcers and gangrene set up. Both of them. I wasn't going to let my grandma sit around. She's always worried about that.
Cannabis is a miracle, but
I'll break the law any day to do that. I mean, I don't have a health condition, but I want to help people who. And you saying that, I mean, that's amazing, man.
It's straight up.
Was there anything else you like to say?
Took 11 days worth of oil 3 times a day, and the therapist said, "You're gonna stay in a day." I said, "Nah, ain't no way." And gave him a few. He reached across the counter and had me standing.
Yep.
And that was actually had me dancing from side to side.
I got chills right now.
Oh yeah, they're in here. We're gonna get a group and we're gonna go visit.
Is there anything you'd like to say anything, or?
Yeah, I would.
I mean, you witnessed it.
Well, not only that, but being a woman, and now here in the state of Tennessee, it really gets to me the fact that you can't get any kind of insurance or anything. They've got state-funded insurance unless you've got cancer already. And I've got friends, I've lost several over the last few years, my age, I'm getting ready to turn 50, and they've got breast cancer. I have a friend that it went from one breast to the other. It's in her spine, can't do any treatment, and she's scared to death that every time she goes and does her chemo, and she comes home and wants to smoke just that little bit to ease that pain, because she can't take morphine, she can't take anything else, that she's going to go to jail. But you know what she said? She said to me one day here just a while back, I saw her, she didn't want anybody to see her because, I don't know, if a lot of people don't realize when you do chemo and radiation, it can change your outward appearance as much as your inward. And she's lost her hair, she was really looking bad, and she said, but if I'm going to die, I'm going to die happy. I'm not going to die miserable. She goes and she gets her fix, is what she calls it. But she said, God put this plant on earth, not man.
God did.
Genesis 1:29.
She said, this is God's plant. And God said, I'm not supposed to do this, and I'm not supposed to do that. I've tried to live right. She says, I don't know why I got cancer. I don't know why it's done this to me. She says, it's made a stronger woman out of me. And every day that she wakes up is a blessing to her, because they told her 2 years ago she wouldn't be here. And a lot of times she says to me when I see her in town, she'll say, this is why I'm surviving. This is why I'm surviving. And when I told her about the oil that Ray does, or has done, you know, she was all in agreement for me. And the thing I don't understand is Tennessee is one of the states that could really use the funding, and they don't go for it. And you sit and you listen to somebody out in Colorado say that he has to pay $20,000 a month in state taxes because he's making this much money, and he's got a legal operation. He sells, he's got a dispensary, he goes by the law, If Tennessee would do the same thing, I said, you imagine the revenue they would bring in. I mean, they got the lottery. If you're going to gamble, do it with something that helps people, health-wise.
Well, you mentioned the Bible. Jesus said a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree can't bear good fruit.
Exactly.
If this man right here used oil and stood up and he couldn't, that's got to be good.
Right.
Can't be bad.
No, but it's illegal in Tennessee for me to stand.
And we're the volunteer state.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm not allowed to be a volunteer. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
I want to volunteer to help people.
It's illegal for me to stand.
Well,
It's illegal for me to volunteer. I mean,
believe it or not,
that's
this is 2012.
I'm glad I met y'all.
This is 2012, and there are still people up north. There are still people out in the south or out west in California that still think Tennessee is a backwoods country. You know, and I kid you not, I've actually talked to people in New York, and this was last year, and they actually still had the nerve to ask me if we were still doing horse and buggies and dirt roads.
I've got one more.
You go to school barefooted, and it's because they look at us as a backward state. And we should be a forward state. We should be one. The southern states are the ones that should be rising up and showing the rest of what they can do.
It should be.
And that's, I mean, it's bad. And we should take this as an opportunity, because growing that hemp, not just for medical purposes, but industry and everything else, would help the whole state out. I mean, it would grow.
Help the whole world out.
Yeah, but medically, over the last few weeks, I've seen people, and this is really what irks me, is to hear a doctor tell somebody that you need this for this behavior, this for this behavior, this for this behavior. They give them 3 or 4 psychotic medicines, makes them sick, causes them to do anything and everything they shouldn't be doing for the behavior, and all they need is that little plant that God put on this earth. You know, if they eat corn, they eat your vegetables that God's grown. You know, you got your fruit trees and all that. You know, why fight this one little plant?
You can take an oxycontin to kill your pain. You sit there, you get drool running out of your mouth. Your grandkids can't play with you. But if you smoke a joint, you take some oil, all the pain's gone. You're fine. Your grandkids can play with you. You can have fun. But you can't when you take an oxycontin. You just sit there with drool hanging out of your mouth, watching everybody else have fun. What kind of life are you living sitting in a wheelchair?
I witnessed that in my own family right there where you're talking about on the Oxycontin, so.
And it's more and more, I think, as I've seen, I mean, there were a lot of things, and the images, that's what I saw today. People think the image of somebody wanting to smoke medical marijuana, or marijuana, whoever, you know, they want to call it, is a bunch of people from the 60s. It's not. Look at the adults that came here today. You know, we're not talking 20 and 30-year-olds. We're talking 40, 50, and 60-year-olds that are coming in here. Even the senators themselves are in that age bracket. And they're trying to push for this because they know, too, this is what's going to have to change.
It has to.
Medicine.
It has to.
It does.
I appreciate y'all talking with me.
I was going to see if we could borrow your. We may have